So imagine you're walking into a major Philippine BPO company, right? They've got some incredibly strict physical access rules. When agents swipe their badges and walk in, they have personal lockers where they can stash their own individual specialized tools safely locked away just for their own shift. But you step out onto the main production floor, and there are only shared, company-approved tools that everyone uses. This physical separation, personal tools in the locker versus shared tools on the floor, well, it's actually exactly how we need to think about plugin settings in Security Copilot.
Let's dive right into Section 1, Plugin Governance Scope, specifically looking at user versus organization.
Translating our BPO analogy into Microsoft's official terminology, plugin governance in Security Copilot operates at two completely distinct levels, or scopes, and by default, these are managed solely by owners. Let's break down the exact difference here. User scope is basically that personal locker we just talked about. It's a private catalog of tools. When custom plugins get added at the user scope, they're accessible only to the specific person who added them, nobody else. Now, organization scope, on the other hand, is the main production floor. This controls custom plugins that are published and made available to all Security Copilot users across the entire organization. If you're working in cloud and AI security, really grasping this difference is absolutely crucial. You have to be able to tightly control who is allowed to bring new tools into their own isolated workspace versus who actually has the authority to share those tools broadly across everyone's workspace.
Moving on to Section 2, User Scope Permissions, and how we handle adding personal plugins.
Think of this next concept like taking a BPO agent's security badge and upgrading it. Maybe you give them special clearance to bring their own specialized, maybe an overly loud mechanical keyboard into the building, but strictly just for their own shift and at their own desk. To change this default behavior in Security Copilot, you're going to navigate to Owner and then Plugin Settings. The very first permission you'll configure is User Scope, basically deciding who can add custom plugins for themselves. You've got two settings here. The first is Owners Only, and that means exactly what it sounds like. Literally, only owners can add and manage their own custom plugins. The second setting is Owners and Contributors. This means both owners and contributors can add and manage custom plugins, but, and this is key, strictly for their own individual sessions. Let's look at a practical example. Say a Contoso security architect sets their testing sandbox workspace to owners and contributors. That gives the security architecture team the flexibility to quickly test custom plugins during their own sessions without having to sit around waiting for owner approval. However, for the actual SOC and compliance workspaces, that same architect is going to leave the setting firmly at owners only. Why? To maintain tight, strict control over the production environments.
Now, for those of you gearing up for the SC-500 exam, here is a critical detail you absolutely need to remember. Changing the user scope setting from owners only to owners and contributors is exactly what unlocks the second configuration, the organization scope configuration. You literally cannot configure the organization scope until you make this initial change.
Which brings us to Section 3, Organization Scope Permissions, or Publishing Globally.
All right, now imagine that specialized mechanical keyboard from earlier works so incredibly well that management decides, hey, let's graduate this. And they take it from being a personal tool at one desk to a standard, approved tool available on the entire production floor for everyone to use. That brings us to Organization Scope Permissions. Now that this control is unlocked, you get to configure who can publish custom plugins for everyone in the organization. Once again, two choices. If you set it to owners only, only owners can make custom plugins available organization-wide. If you set it to owners and contributors, contributors can also publish plugins to the entire organization. The security reality here, though, is a bit of a balancing act. Even if you let contributors add plugins for their own personal sessions, a security architect usually keeps the organization scope setting strictly at owners only. By doing this, the owner retains the final say on exactly which tools graduate to organization-wide availability after they've passed all the necessary testing. Next up, Section 4, Pre-installed Plugin Restrictions and Controlling Default Tools.
Okay, imagine what would happen if a BPO just suddenly revoked access to the standard, company-issued computers that every single agent relies on to do their basic job. Chaos, right? Well, beyond custom tools, we also need to manage default tools. By default, all owners and contributors start with access to pre-installed Microsoft and non-Microsoft plugins. However, owners have the power to restrict access to any individual pre-installed plugin, changing its availability to owners only. You really need to know a few key behaviors about this. First off, restricting a plugin causes immediate changes across the environment. Second, once you restrict any plugin, Microsoft actually changes the default behavior going forward. Any newly added pre-installed plugins will automatically default to owners only. Interestingly, though, there's a little exception for automation. If you set up a Security Copilot agent, that agent will automatically enable the plugins it requires, but it does this solely for its own use, completely bypassing these user restrictions without altering the availability status for your actual human users.
But here is a crucial warning and an absolutely essential SC-500 connection to keep in your back pocket. Restricting access to pre-installed plugins immediately degrades embedded Copilot experiences. For example, if you restrict the Microsoft Defender XDR plugin or the Natural Language to KQL plugin, security analysts working over in the Defender portal are suddenly going to see a degraded or completely unavailable Copilot experience right within that portal. Because of this ripple effect, you have to plan these restrictions incredibly carefully and clearly communicate any changes to the affected teams before you hit apply.
Finally, Section 5, adding custom plugins and the UI workflow. Think of this UI workflow exactly like walking up to a BPO security desk, presenting a brand new approved tool, declaring what it's for, and getting it officially registered and tagged by the security guard. Here is the exact step-by-step process a contributor follows to add a custom plugin, assuming, of course, you've granted them the permissions to do so. Step 1. You select the Security Copilot sources icon from the prompt bar. Step 2. In Manage Plugins, scroll down to the Custom section and select Upload Plugin. Step 3. Choose your scope from the dropdown. This is where you decide if it's available only to yourself, meaning private, or available to the whole organization. Step 4. Select the plugin type. If it's a Security Copilot plugin, you have to upload a .yaml or .json manifest file, or provide a direct link to the manifest. If it's an OpenAI plugin, you just provide the link to the OpenAI plugin manifest. Finally, Step 5. Complete any required setup fields and hit Setup.
Once it's set up, the plugin appears in the Custom section with a handy toggle to just turn it on or off. If you added it for user scope, it's going to display a private tag. And please remember this final, absolutely critical governance rule regarding shared tools. Contributors can toggle an organization scope plugin on or off for their own session, but they cannot change its actual definition. Only the owner who added an organization scope plugin can modify or delete it. So that leaves us with a pretty massive question for your SC-500 prep. As AI tools become increasingly democratized, how will you balance the need to empower your security analysts with the absolute necessity of maintaining a lockdown, trustworthy production environment?